In the last lesson we looked at arpeggios as a way of broadening your boogie woogie style. You know, arpeggios are typically something that we play in classical piano. And just to kind of broaden off, if you listen to Chopin's studies or etudes, E-T-U-D-E-S, there's some great there's some great kind of arpeggio kind of pieces with Chopin's piano. You might want to investigate that, but let's not go there too much because we're doing boogie woogie here. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is scales. Are you practicing your scales? Again, some people say, oh, scales force you to play mechanically, blah, 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 and there's an element of truth to that, but doing some scales now and again will help you with your piano technique, whether you're playing boogie woogie piano, blues piano, or classical piano. So add some scales in. So let's do some scales. It's old school, but let's celebrate old school. So we are celebrating old school with these videos. Good old-fashioned scale. So let's pick a random key, I don't know, A, for example, and put them hands together for 4 octaves. This is the key of A. We started in A, let's start in C. E. F. G. A. B. Back to C. And what you might want to do also, a little trick, we haven't got a metronome here. A camera person is my metronome. Camera person, do you want to do your metronome tick?
Tick, 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 tick.
Well, I tried to play in time with camera person's
sorry, that
click,
was an interesting sound.
But what you might want to do is get a metronome if you're worried about your timing, and it's a good discipline to get the.
You could go.
Right, go on, camera person. That's a bit fast. Can you slow it down a bit? So you get the idea. If you get a metronome, you know, they're not that expensive, £20 or £30 in a shop. You can get them on Amazon or something. I'm sure if you type in metronome, they have electronic metronomes now, or you have those good old-fashioned metronomes that, you know, your old-fashioned piano teacher used to have. If you play a metronome and play some scales, it's a really good idea of grounding your tempo, because sometimes there's a tendency when we play boogie woogie, if you're a beginner, to really speed up and the tempo is all over the place. So just playing scales to an arpeggio, or you can get a substitute camera person to go like that in your room with you. Just playing scales with a metronome is a great way of grounding it. Again, do these exercises in moderation, because if you're just playing scales for 2 or 3 hours a day and with metronome, your playing can become mechanical. So always use what I'm telling you in moderation. You know, a little bit of some scales, some arpeggios, a little bit of metronome. Is a good way of really kind of adding an extra source of grounding to your boogie woogie technique. So if you don't know how to play scales, we've done them a lot in this lesson. I'm sure I don't want to turn this into a classical piano channel, but just type in how to play scales on the piano, and I'm sure somebody must have posted hundreds of videos about how to play scales. So scales and arpeggios plus the use of a metronome, are you actually using these with your boogie woogie piano? Because I'm surprised that many people are not. And again, just using them in moderation is a great way of improving your technique. And of course, there's also scales, there's also chromatic scales. Come over here, camera person. Chromatic scales are when you kind of do one note at a time. You know, you put the hands together like this. They're quite fun. hands to have the coordination. There's also minor scales, of course. Or D. And so forth. So there's all sorts of different scales, but just try and play some major scales and some major arpeggios and add them as a kind of 5 or 10 minute regimen to your daily practice, and you'll find that it really broadens your concept of what it means to play hands together, because I think coordinating both hands together, playing in time, and just mastering yourself physically at the piano is where a lot of you have problems, because Boogie Woogie is one of these art forms which really is kind of like that. You know, it's both brains, parts of your brain are firing, the coordination gets all mixed up, and playing scales and arpeggios will really help you master the hands together coordination if you add scales and arpeggios to your daily practice regimen. So as always, I'm not going to go through how to play scales, because I'm sure there's tons of material on the internet and on YouTube how to play scales and arpeggios on the piano. So check it out, but do add it to your regimen. As always, have you got your Boogie Woogie sheet music? If you can read sheet music and you're watching these lessons, then get the Badass Boogie bundles, which are the Boogie Woogie sheet music transcriptions to the Dr. K channel. You can get them at www.badassboogie.com, where we've got all the Boogie Woogie sheet music in downloadable form. You can get them within a couple of minutes of watching this video. We've got some free samples, Boogie Woogie sheet music samples on the page as well, so you can see what the sheet music looks like. So do get the Badass Boogie bundles if you're serious about becoming a badass boogie player. Subscribe to the channel, of course. Visit the Dr. K Boogie Community Facebook page. We have a Facebook page where we have all sorts of unseen Boogie Woogie footage. The Dr. K Boogie Community Facebook page. Subscribe to this channel, and remember, Camera Person also wants you to visit her fan club page on Facebook, don't you, Camera Person? Do you want to big it up?
I do, yes.
Go on
My
then.
fan club page is amazing. About 2 people, sorry, thousands of people have liked it.
No, I think there's 3.5 people now.
Oh, is there? Where's the half person? I want to meet them.
I don't know. We haven't heard any of your poetry. So we had a lot of fans of your Shakespearean. Remember, we did a lesson on Dr. John, and you added some Shakespeare.
Yes.
Would you like to give us another Shakespearean quote, just to not say lower the tone, but raise the tone?
Raise the tone.
Come on, give us some Shakespeare, Camera Person.
Another sonnet, or
yeah, go on, give us a sonnet.
Let us not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove.
Wonderful, Camera Person. I'm absolutely amazed by the vast storehouse of Shakespearean knowledge which resides in your mind.
Thank you.
You're a gem.